Hello lovely friends, thanks so much for being here today. That was a quick glimpse of my little abstract dragon inspired fluid art painting today, and we're combining science and fantasy. So my inspiration was a little Komodo dragon from the island of Komodo, and I wanted to have a look at his scales and use him as inspiration for this painting. So you can just see this little chap here. He's from Indonesia, and one of the islands that they have is called Komodo because they have these little dragon creatures there. So just to begin with today, I started a painting and immediately I knew it wasn't the one, and so I thought I'd start again. I just wanted to show you that at the beginning here, because often people say to me they started a painting, it didn't go how they wanted it, and so they left it and didn't come back, and it's so easy to do that sometimes. So I'm just going to show you how I used the drips, carried on, started again. I think sometimes as well, when you see the process on these videos and you see the outcome, it's really easy to think that's how it turns out every time, but that's so not the case. So back to my beautiful dragon. I just love dragons, and the idea of the Komodo dragon, I'd love to see one day. We were in Indonesia many years ago, and I'd love to go back and see and go to Komodo, which is one of the islands, and see them. We saw monitor lizards that are not dissimilar to Komodo dragons. So one of the reasons why I wanted to form a dragon inspired painting today was because they invoke this feeling of growth and renewal. So dragons symbolise nature's power, and because my art is always inspired by nature, I was thinking about how green is often associated with nature and life. And the green dragon can be seen as a powerful guardian of forests and jungles, and they ensure their continued growth and health. They also are promoters of renewal. So green dragons in fantasy are linked to the element of wood in some cultures, which represents new beginnings and cycles of growth. And they could be seen as symbols of renewal. You can see this little piggy. Lagoon colour is very emerald and shimmers so wonderfully against that gold, and the very light rose orchid and that metallic brown again, they played so nicely together. So the other fact about the green dragons are that they are protectors of rare plants. So perhaps a specific green dragon protects a hidden valley filled with rare and endangered plants, and it guards this treasure fiercely, ensuring its survival for future generations. It's amazing letting your imagination go wild. So beyond the stereotypes of dragons, they're clever and adaptable, the green ones. They often are depicted as intelligent creatures, strategists, and also very good at adapting to situations in life. So I'm just using my copper cell activator here and just showing you how this helps to invoke those beautiful cells. So going to the scientific part, I've taken my swipe tool and I've gently dragged it across the paint, awakening the power of the Amsterdam copper. Did you see as the cells activated, forming patterns that resemble the dragon's shimmering scales? You can see already that that's happening. I looked at a cover the other day on one of the beds in one of the shops I was in, and I thought, goodness me, those cells can be used for turtles, dragons, all sorts of reptiles and all sorts of animals. I've got lots of ideas for upcoming videos. But thinking about the science behind cells. So what are cells? So cells form when a cell activator like this copper disrupts the surface tension of the paints, causing them to separate, and then they make a different formation. The disruption happens because the copper, in this case the pigments, have a different density and viscosity than the regular acrylics. So they essentially push and pull on the other paints, creating the wonderful cell effects. And that's why there are so many different ways of creating cells. But for the purpose of this video, I've put the details and description of the ratio of Floetrol to paint, which created this formation through the copper Amsterdam swipe. Years ago we were in Indonesia, and even though we didn't see the Komodo dragon, it's found in Indonesia on a few islands within the Lesser Sunda Islands. So these islands are Komodo, Rinca, Flores and Gili Motang. The national park protects a lot of these islands, and so the Komodo dragon is named after the island that lives there. And it's really interesting just thinking, whatever colour dragon you want to paint, all the different colours have different representations. So imagine if you use your palette knife to swipe in the S curve of the body, or diagonal swipe for a more dynamic pose. You can do whatever you fancy. So the beauty of fluid art is that you can't control the outcome fully. And so you've always got a unique outcome no matter what you do, depending on how you use your palette knife. And when you're moving it in different directions and you go down to different levels in the paint, you can pick up different colours and make different formations. You see, this one here only had a few colours in it, and so it was only going to go in a few different formations of colour when the colours were blended together, and so it was really quite easy to see the outcome of the copper, the green and almost skin colour moving together with the white. So I had a little something in my painting there, and I was lucky enough to be able to fill it in with a tiny drop of paint. I span it out to begin with, but there wasn't quite enough paint there, so I added a drop and it was okay. Some stories portray green dragons as protectors of ancient knowledge, hidden deep within forgotten ruins or guarded with emerald caves. They might even test worthy seekers before granting access to their secrets. Can you see how the imagination just can go wild with these creatures? So exciting painting this dragon today. So much came up, and I just love the connection with nature. They're also partners with nature spirits, and so green dragons could have a symbiotic relationship with nature spirits, working together to maintain balance in the ecosystem. So whether you want to do a red dragon representing that passion and the bold reds and swirling flames, or the blue dragon which represents wisdom and protection and royalty, serenity and power, the gold dragon representing wealth and prosperity, and there are many more. So as we continue to see this spin out today, where we're allowing those cells just to flow out evenly onto the canvas and see where the paint settles, I'll come back shortly and show you the wet and the dried results of this dragon inspired fluid art piece today. as you've watched this dragon inspired fluid art piece come to life today, and as I just take you into seeing the wet results, just think about what you could do to explore that symbolism of dragons and that beauty that it represents, and how wonderful it just appears on the canvas when you use that copper. You could even use a gold cell activator, whatever you fancy. We've created today a mythical and magical green dragon with its shimmering scales and fierce presence, and it's an inspired piece and an inspired abstract art piece, and I've just really enjoyed making it today, really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to be experimenting with this a bit more. So I'd love to know how your dragon goes, if you form a dragon, if it appears in a painting without you realising it, or whether you do it on purpose. Whatever you do, just enjoy what you're doing. It's just the most magical process, using fluid art on canvas or on any particular surface that you fancy. So I want to say thank you so much for being here today and being on this journey of this dragon inspired fluid art piece. Always appreciate you being here. I'm very excited to show you what comes up next with our fluid art swipes, and I'm just going to now finish off the canvas by taking away the drips. It's such an essential part when all the drips have been scraped away. You can then rest your painting in a nice level area and wait for it to dry and watch the results coming up. I can't wait to hear what you thought of this dragon piece and to see your creations as always. So I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope you're having a creative time in whatever you do. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you, and please do subscribe for more inspiration artistically for you and for me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.